All right, well, obviously we got some color on the cabinets. We've made progress in other parts too, so we want to show you what we've been up to.
Right, the other places look pretty good in our house. You're probably not gonna notice because it's all white. So.
And of course, get Tom's opinion on my new hair color too, so see what he thinks. All right, well, we are officially on day 164 of the stair flipping project.
I think it's probably way beyond that by now.
It's pretty.
Okay, that's accurate.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a counter somewhere here.
Yeah, I have a calendar where I cross out each day. Right. So again, our original intention was we flipped our staircase. The whole point of it was to make 2 bedrooms upstairs.
Yeah.
We only had 1 bedroom before, but then it kind of spilled into our office area too, and now we're in the final phase of putting it all back together on the lower level. The upstairs is gonna have to wait till winter.
Sorry kids, we are ignoring your space.
But they have 2 separate bedrooms now, so that's all that really matters. It's just the finished stuff.
And it's sheetrocked. It's sheetrocked, it's just not mud and taped and painted and...
All right, so the first thing we wanted to get done this week was actually to paint the ceiling, which is not fun, but it really needed
for anybody.
It needed to be done. All right, so I've never used this ceiling paint before. It actually goes on pink, so you can see where it is you have been. It was like the same price at Walmart as the other ceiling paint, so I thought, well, we might as well give it a try. So I'm gonna try and get the whole ceiling painted tonight, and yeah, I have no idea how long it'll take, so we'll see how that goes.
And you know, like, what you used a different paint than what we've done in the rest of the house, right? Like, it's not textured. So we scraped what was textured, and then I taped all the perimeter and then where the wall was and everything. I think I did a pretty good job. But with that paint you put on, like, you gotta be looking for it to know. Yeah,
it's really flat and it's a nice shade of white. It's really forgiving, so you don't really see the transition from the texture to non-texture. It definitely goes on pink, but I like that. It makes it really easy to see where you've covered and how thick it's going on. I think that's probably the key, is being able to see if you're actually covering it all or not. So we had thought we'd need to go back and patch the texture everywhere where you mudded, but it's actually not that noticeable.
Like, again, I gotta be looking straight at it to know it's there.
So who cares?
And you guys aren't looking at it.
You can't see it. So yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Not anytime soon.
All right, the ceiling is done. The kids think it's funny that it's pink right now. It is starting to dry, so I trust it's not gonna stay pink, but I probably won't be able to lift anything over my shoulders tomorrow or move my neck, but 1 gallon of ceiling paint later, it's done. All right, so then the next thing is we wanted to get the lower cabinets painted, so we wanted to paint them the same color as our kitchen islands. All right, so now we're ready to paint the cabinets. And so Tom and I actually painted the cabinets in our whole entire kitchen in our first house. We painted the lowers here, Diana's painted her cabinets. We've also been through a lot of houses with painted cabinets. And so I just wanna share a few tips that if you have been wanting to paint your cabinets so that you're successful and you have proper expectations. But I wanna show you something real quick in our kitchen about white cabinets. Okay, so these are the white cabinets in our kitchen. And what's important to know is that when you purchase white cabinets, they have a smooth, like, enameled finish. But when you are going to paint existing cabinets, usually there's some kind of, well, it depends where you live. Where we live, they're all oak. But usually it's some kind of wood that has a grain. So you'll notice in these types of cabinets, there's no grain showing whatsoever. And what happens a lot of times is when people paint their cabinets white, there's grain that pops through because their cabinets weren't smooth enamel to start out with, and they're a little bit disappointed by how the finish turns out, even if they went through all the steps to make sure you get a really great finish. And so that's the thing about having proper expectations, is to really look at the type of wood that you have and be realistic about how it's gonna look after it's painted. And one thing we would recommend, that if you do have wood cabinets that the grain is gonna show through, is to not go with white. Go with an off-white, go with some kind of color. Like in our first house it was just a real slight sage green, and it was really pretty, but it looked more natural, the wood being painted that color because the grain did come through, than trying to paint white, which is not forgiving and shows all of the imperfections, and it really emphasizes that grain in it. It wouldn't have looked anything like this. So choosing to paint with just a little bit of color in it might give you a better result. And then actually the last time I was in Hirschfield's getting the paint mixed for our kitchen, there was a gentleman in there that professionally paints, and he was working on someone's kitchen. And so I asked him real quick, I said, what are your best tips if we are painting cabinets? And he said that if you are doing a whole kitchen and you really want it to look good, that you have to use a sprayer. And so we did that in our first kitchen. We took all the doors off, laid them out flat, and Tom sprayed them, and they turned out really well. You can buy sprayers inexpensively or rent them, but it really is worth that extra step, because we've brush painted cabinets too, and they never turn out quite as good as if you were able to spray them. Also, if your cabinets have a varnish on them, that's okay. You just have to use the oil-based coverall primer. It's not this one. But if you put that on, it blocks the stain and the varnish on it. And so then you can go right away from that, as long as your cabinets are cleaned well, to your paint, to your enamel paint, and you'll be ready to go. Lastly, it is important that you use a good enamel paint, and that's what the gentleman at the paint store said. He said you have to get an enamel paint. Normally I'd use a mini fine roller, like a little roller, but I ran out of covers. So I'm just gonna use a paintbrush, but because these are under the counter, I'm not too worried about the finish being perfect. So for our kitchen cabinets, then for that we were a little more particular. These I'm not as worried about. So this is from Hirschfield's. Sherwin-Williams sells the same thing. I haven't been able to find the same level of quality at our home improvement stores in our area. So I did have to go to an actual paint store to get it, but it hardens over time. And so it really creates that hard enamel on the cabinets. Our kitchen cabinets have held up incredibly well, so it was well worth it. Like, this quart was $31. We paid for it ourselves. So it's a little bit more expensive, but one quart did all of our base cabinets in our kitchen. So for $31, it was well worth the investment because it has held up really well. So those are my best tips when it comes to painting cabinets. I would love any tips that you have if you've done that down below. Super helpful to anyone that's been thinking about it, especially when we have a little bit of extra time on our hands.
But yeah, so I sprayed them, I primer sprayed them, I sprayed inside the cabinets, all in everywhere.
Oh, that's right, yeah, the inside.
Here, and I'm like, no, I do not want to open the door and see that old.
Yeah, I totally forgot. And that was like before, or when it was first starting to come in style, I think, to like paint your own cabinets.
Oh man, we put walnut floors in that house, white trim,
that was a nice house.
Granite. Oof, it was pretty.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool when we were done.
Pretty.
But yeah, so I was thinking about that then when we were painting the cabinets. The cool thing is now they have such better products when it comes to painting your cabinets. And we'd actually shown you too, Diana had painted her bathroom cabinets pretty recently, and she said the same thing, like it just holds up so well. Makes a big impact. Like if you're looking for a big impact for a little bit of money, I would recommend it.
So speaking of big impact, a little bit of money, how is her vanity holding up?
Yeah, so we also spray painted her vanity.
I was like,
with appliance epoxy.
No, I'm not doing it.
I was at her house just a few days ago, and I looked at it, and it looks like the same day we painted it. It looks awesome. It's holding up really well, and that bathroom gets a good amount of use.
Yeah, that's like the bathroom that everybody uses when people are at their house. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're looking for a DIY to freshen up your bathroom, totally do the appliance epoxy on the vanity and then paint with this good enamel paint, and you can really make a big impact for a little bit of money.
For dirt cheap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got the cabinets painted, and then the last thing to do was, well, not last, we have other things to do. For this week, what I wanted to get done.
Next on the list is...
So we painted the tongue and groove that we put up.
It's only pine, it's only pine. If this was all for something rare, I wouldn't be doing it. It's only pine.
Okay, so we have everything just about primed, but then we're missing the top plank on this side and also on this side. And then we need some baseboard trim and the trim around the window. So we're gonna work on getting all those pieces up right now. And then Tom put up the last pieces, which we're not leaving those unpainted. I just haven't gotten them. That's what I'm gonna do next. So, and then we weren't quite sure how to finish the end of the tongue and groove.
So this is also what we're doing there, is we're capping the end. So you get a nice clean edge. It's just like a 1/8 inch, I think. Otherwise, it's just the ends of the boards. There's some gaps because my cuts aren't totally perfect the whole way up, but we are going to probably patch all that with some putty.
So I'm just gonna paint it the wall color, and I think it's gonna totally blend in. And then around the window, we're gonna do the same trim that we have in the living room and in our dining room. It was a trim we just kind of like made up.
We just made it ourselves.
Based on some trim I had seen in a house that I liked. And so it's just, are they 1x3s? So we put that up first, and then we just put this decorative piece around it, but I'm not gonna have Tom put that up until we're done doing the wall treatment, which our wallpaper is still who knows where. Like, oh, now I know what it was like when you lost the trees.
See?
I understand now.
Now you understand.
The frustration. The only thing is, like, ours didn't end up at a neighbor's a mile away.
You don't think somebody stole it?
I don't think anyone signed for it. I don't think it's at our neighbor's
I bet you our neighbors over there put that in their house.
They're gonna go out and say, hey, nice wallpaper.
Hey, can I check out your living room?
They have been doing some projects. You know what's funny? Some of you had said when we were talking about the trees and wanting to create privacy, you were like, oh, whatever, people would need binoculars to see into your yard.
Yeah, well, they have those.
They do that. And somebody, I think we maybe talked about this before, but when we were redoing the front of our house and the porch, they started saying that we were getting our house ready to sell, and so then the rumor was going around the neighborhood that we were selling.
We have one neighbor who drives by our house at like 3 miles an hour. Just staring out the side.
But I think it's a good thing because if anything ever negative happened in our neighborhood, he would know. Like, he would know what's going on. He's like, it's like our own neighborhood watch, like, that we don't have to like volunteer for.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be worse, I think. Anyway.
I am, however, looking forward to having very big trees.
Yeah.
With a gate at the end of our driveway. And signs.
Anyway, we don't need to go into that. So, oh, I know. And then
maybe landmines. I don't know.
We also put up I said put up spike strips, and Tom's like, no, because I would drive over them the wrong way and pop all my tires.
No, I would. I didn't say you. No, I would.
Yeah. We also got the light fixture up because I was just like, I just need to see something pretty.
You're like, I just want to see my creation.
I just need to see it more together than this time last week. All right, this is the moment I've been waiting for.
Tom's gonna break a light.
Please don't. So Tom put the light fixture up, which I think it looks good. It's throwing me off because we don't have any Edison bulbs. I almost want to just drive to the home improvement store to get an Edison bulb. So we put that ugly
I think it looks great the way it is.
Yeah.
Why buy different bulbs when we have?
Yeah. We'll just wait till they wear out in 4 years and then we'll replace it.
I'm just saying, more economical.
But I do think it looks, I think it's gonna look good, and I'll get the other one put up too. So slowly but surely, we're getting this project done. I love how this looks. I'm really happy with.
I noticed it, but when I came in the house after you painted the blue, like, it didn't stand out to me at all because it just matches the kitchen, so it felt like it was right.
That it blends in.
However, when the barn door goes up, if that ends up being blue one day when I come back, okay, good. I was gonna say.
Yeah. And you like the planking on the wall too, right?
Yeah, now you can see it. See, you guys can see the lines. We didn't just paint like gray lines on the wall.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like it has some good visual
in person, I like it.
Yeah, it's in person. It's even more noticeable.
You guys will have to come over before my military bunker is created.
Yeah. So no, it's exciting. It feels like we're making progress, and I mean, really, this time next week we could be done with it, right? All right, well, no commitment from Tom on that one.
You insert cricket noises.
All right, well, apparently he doesn't want to commit to anything. Oh, I know. And what do you think of my hair color, Tom?
Oh, I love it. That's your natural hair color, right?
It is pretty close to my natural hair color. It's a little darker than I was thinking, but I know it'll fade.
Yeah, so, it's okay.
I don't know, I'm hoping it's a little easier. In Minnesota here, the salons are still not open, so it was like at that point, like, I either needed to re-highlight my hair or do something different, so went to Walmart and got a box. It was. This is the first time I've ever done that. So anyway, I think I don't actually care too much about my hair color, so, but anyway, so that's been our week, and yeah, it's been good. It feels good to make progress, but I'm really excited to just get it done. So maybe after this I can get Tom to commit to having it done next week. Would that be fun? We could do a reveal next week?
Maybe. I don't know.
All right, well.
Sorry, I have many projects on my mind at the moment, so.
Yeah, anyway, so.
Anyway.
All right, well, yeah, I guess we would love to know what you're up to. Do your projects go faster than this?
How about this? Are you guys the kind of people who start a project and finish it? Or do you start like 7 projects and they kind of bounce around? Because I think that's kind of my nature.
Yeah.
Get like 80% done and then go, ooh.
Yep.
Let's go do that.
Yeah. So we're trying to change that, but it's not going anywhere, so it'll still be here. But all right, well, we hope you're having a great week and a great weekend, and that I hope your projects go super fast and even faster than you expect them to.
I agree with that.
All right, we love you, and we'll look forward to visiting with you again soon.
Bye!